Oh, we know it's only 3 games, but that's all we've got to work with at this stage of the season. And we said before the game, Jamie, that Liverpool may have got good results so far this season, but maybe there was room for improvement in terms of the performances. Did we see improvement today?
Yes, we did. I mean, I must say I was really confident before the game, just on the back of Jurgen Klopp's words, really, in our last game. And I thought it would be a tough game for Arsenal. I think Arsenal did really well in that first half to withstand the opening 10 or 15 minutes, causing Liverpool problems on the counter-attack. That would have been the game plan, of course, but that blitz in the first 15 minutes of the second half, he just couldn't cope with it. And before, we've been really critical of Arsenal coming here at times. You were certainly less critical. You know, you still lost here 3-1, could have been more goals also. And I think just the fact for the Premier League, maybe it shows how far ahead Liverpool and Man City are, that two of the rivals have come to their own grounds in Tottenham and Arsenal, and they've sort of beat them convincingly. I know Man City and Spurs was a draw, but 99 times out of 100 Man City win that game comfortably, and it looks like there still is that gulf early in this stage of the season, as there was last season, between the top 2 and the rest of the other top 4 going in that top 6.
Is the gulf, Jamie, that Liverpool were able to improve, as Jamie said, in the second half, particularly in those opening 15 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. And in Mane, Salah and Firmino, they've got incredible forwards that are not only exceptional on the ball, they work incredibly hard to get the ball back. But even when you analyse the game, 1-0, Arsenal were in the game. I mean, if it wasn't for a David Luiz moment of madness when he pulls at Salah, it might have been totally different. Now, that's when, from an Arsenal's point of view, you've got to try and stay in the game. But I agree with Jamie. You always felt Liverpool just had that other gear. Especially defensively, looked much stronger, and they have that quality and know how hard they work. It's incredible to watch. It really is from the Liverpool team.
As you said, slightly different Arsenal performance from one that we might have seen over previous years, Jamie. So what was the improvement this time around? What was the difference?
Listen, I don't think Arsenal played well. They've come in and lost 3-1, could have been 4 or 5, and I know they've had chances themselves, but it just wasn't as bad as we've seen in other years. I still can't get my head around why teams come to Anfield. Norwich have done it, Arsenal have done it now, and try and play out from the back, open, expansive football. I mean, I think the game evolves, it moves on, there's different ideas, and I love that. I love football and different people coming into the game. But when you're playing against someone like Liverpool, there's nothing wrong with the first 10 or 15 minutes playing into your front. I mean, that was when I was a kid. I'm not talking about going back to old-fashioned football and knocking it long. But I'm just for a 10 or 15-minute period, let's look at, can we get in behind the full-backs? We've got Pepe, we've got Aubameyang early on. Let's not entice them on and lose the ball in tight situations. And that's what they did. And you thought they were going to get overrun in those 10 or 15 minutes. But once they got through, and I think they were quite fortunate, maybe not to concede in the first 10 or 15 minutes, then they actually come into the game and actually looked more dangerous. I actually said in commentary, this game's going to be decided, can Liverpool's full-backs exploit the space they've got, or Arsenal's front 2 expose Liverpool from pushing the full-backs on and find themselves 2v2. And it almost was Arsenal, to be honest, who went in 1-0 at half-time.
They got success from it. They got success, especially when you've got pace like they've got. Pepe showed today that he's going to be a quality player for Arsenal. You've got Aubameyang. But what Jamie's saying is exactly right. I was a midfield player and I wanted to receive the ball all over the pitch. But I know if I'm playing against this Liverpool side that want to put you under so much pressure, they want you to play out from the back. And every time you do that, they wait and they set traps for you and they go and close you and wait for that one mistake. It just feels like it's football suicide. At times, and there's nothing wrong with it, you have to turn teams, almost earn the right to play. And I don't think Arsenal did that at times. I know they got through that period, but you just felt that it tires your legs out and you're asking for trouble. But with the pace that they've got up front, and especially the chances they created first half, it felt like if they were direct, they could cause Liverpool problems.
There were plenty of chances that Liverpool created in the first half from open play, but a lot of them were from crosses, so maybe no surprise that the first goal came from a corner.
I think that this fella, because you're alongside Virgil van Dijk, you don't get talked about a lot, really, and that's normal. The other fella next is a superstar, but as I said in commentary, couldn't believe he didn't start the season, and his performance at the back end of last season were outstanding. And actually, when he's come in, I think he's actually made a difference to Liverpool coming in since he's come in. Obviously, Gomez at times has been right back and centre back. But for me, at this moment, it looks a bit more solid with Matip in there.
I think it's options as well, Jamie, isn't it? You've got two good options there. Gomez is a really good young player. Matip has got lovely experience and is a very calming effect. But what you've got, and it's what Arsenal haven't got, is that luxury of being able to play different centre-backs. If you need to play him at right-back as well, Gomez, they've got a lot of options there.
And when we were here on the opening day of the season for the game against Norwich, it was Joe Gomez who started for Liverpool, and the question was whether or not he was going to be Jurgen Klopp's first choice. Do you think Matip, 3 games into the season, can't really discern any real patterns, but do you think going forward Matip right now is his first choice?
He should be. I think he is right now. Listen, Liverpool's back 4 and goalkeeper picks itself, and there's just one position who's going to play alongside Virgil van Dijk, and you need that within a squad. I always feel in a team there should be 7 or 8 absolute starters who know they're playing as soon as they fit, and everyone knows they're playing, and there should always be 3 or 4 positions up for grabs. And in this Liverpool team at the moment, the centre-back position is up for grabs, and probably the central midfield players either side of Fabinho, I'd still say, I wouldn't say they're up for grabs. I think the players who've got the shirt now, that they're first choice now, but you could easily see Oxlade-Chamberlain going there, Naby Keita when he's fit, James Milner going in there, the front 3 picks itself. So you should always have 3 or 4 within a team that are up for grabs, and centre-back's one of them, and at this moment it's Joe Matip, and I don't see that changing.
We will continue to have more reaction to the game. We can hear now from the Liverpool boss, Jurgen Klopp. He's with Jeff Shreves.
What we should remember tonight, I was just thinking about it, we're talking about the pace of Aubameyang and Pepe and this high line and causing them problems in behind. The actual problems today were not with the high line. The actual chance of Pepe comes from a corner, really, and Jordan Henderson hits his kick. And actually the Aubameyang chance in the first half comes from the goalkeeper just making a mistake. Now, of course, Virgil van Dijk's running back, but I think it was Pepe, he was there first, and the goalkeeper makes a mistake. So we didn't see that today. So that is an improvement. That Liverpool still looks really high, looked really compact, but he didn't get exposed to 2 of the quickest players in the Premier League, and the 2 big chances in that first half were just from mistakes, really.
I mean, you could say that about Liverpool's goals, though. You could turn around, if you analyse their goals, what's David Luiz doing for getting caught the wrong side? The goal when he goes and gets too close to Salah. You know you're playing against the quickest player in the world. Why are you getting so close that he can turn you? So there's always little mistakes that can make the difference. I thought that Liverpool today looked incredibly fresh. The midfield, and talk about rotation, the players that they can use in there. To play in that midfield, you have to be incredibly fit. You've got to be able to run marathons, and there's no way almost you can play 90 minutes, and that's why he's always going to rotate in that area, and there are players that play at such a high intensity. But from what he wanted from his team today, he'd be delighted, because it was a banana skin. It was a team that were unbeaten, but they showed their class in the end.
David Luiz, great, wonderful passer of a football, get that. Football doesn't embarrass him, the ball doesn't embarrass him at all, but making decisions like penalty area, I'm going to pull Salah's shirt, why? And that one, I'm on the halfway line almost, so just stay off him. Stay off him and say, go on then, you have to beat him.
When Mo Salah got away, that's when he looks like Messi to me, when his little feet are pounding, and then to finish in that corner the way he did. Well, sensational, wasn't it?
Carbon copy of Norwich opening day of the season, what does he do? Comes in from the right there, slides it left foot in that corner. It's a bit like Thierry Henry used to, remember? Henry used to do that from the other side, yeah. Great player. And listen, Liverpool, what can you gather? Liverpool look ready at it, ready for a challenge. We wondered about Arsenal. We talked about it. And John said we'll learn a little bit about Arsenal today. What have I learned about Arsenal? Nowhere near ready. That team, nowhere near it.
You didn't play with Henry when he was at his peak, but you did for a while at Monaco.
Yeah, but he was right.
Henry or Mo Salah?
I think Henry.
I'll take the one you don't want.
I think Henry had a little bit more than Salah.
It's a tough call, isn't it?
But I think Henry was sensational for so many years. I mean, Salah's been the same, but it's a tough one. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, I think in 3 years' time, if we're still talking about Mo Salah in these terms, the way we did with Thierry Henry, that length of time, then I think that you would say it's a really tough call.
Look at Henry, his presence when he was at his best at Arsenal. He was like, you feared playing against him because you knew he's so quick, he can score from anywhere, both feet, good in the air. It's just...
For a minute you were talking about Salah until you said good in the air. He has all those traits as well.
No, but if Salah does it another couple of years...
Henry won the league.
Yeah.
Should have won the European Cup for Arsenal, if you remember, 13 minutes from the end of that game in Paris to put it to bed at 2-0. But does Mo Salah have to win the league yet for us to be able to talk about him in the same terms?
No, he's won the Champions League.
Yeah, people talk about you have to win trophies to be proving good enough.
We did with Barca,
With Barca, but not with Arsenal, I know.
But I don't think he needs to win the league to prove that he's good enough, because he's done it. He won the Champions League, he's won the PFA, and he's on the top scorer.
Will he be able to take that form to the Bernabeu?
It's not
you and Salah, you're never going to stop, are you?
They will come calling.
Can I just say why? I'm being totally honest here. I'm being genuine here.
Why would
Before you ask the question, because it's Real Madrid. Because if you're a footballer, you have been you two. If Real Madrid come calling, it has to be impossible.
Look at Coutinho.
To say,
look at Coutinho going to Barcelona. I understand why, because they are growing up having Barcelona and
Spanish
Madrid
football.
as the number one. All around the world, otherwise, is England. So Coutinho, I
North
understand.
Europeans, I get. I understand what you're saying. They want to play in England. They want to play for English teams. But I think beyond there, the rest of Europe is drawn to Barca and Real Madrid, surely.
Yeah, it
depends where you
be.
come from.
But that's a bit like saying as well. I mean, you've said to me, well, which big players would sign for Manchester United right now? And I would say to you, well, it's Manchester United. In the same way you say it's Real Madrid.
No,
they paid 80 million for Maguire. That's how much they wanted someone to sign for.
Well, that's how much they're now having to pay to persuade people to go there.
Exactly. So that means even though Manchester United is probably the biggest club in the world and been for many years, people don't want to go there as much as they want before because of.
If you've played football at Liverpool and you've won the Champions League and you might win the title this year, I think there's they're my favourites. But why would you then not want to test yourself in the biggest arena of the world, playing for the biggest club in the world?
Well, who says it's the biggest club in the world?
Well, I think we all agree. Real Madrid is, by some distance.
Why would you go if Liverpool?
No chance. Of course it is. What? Yes.
No.
I bet you
commercially you might have an argument.
Manchester United is a bigger club, a richer club than that.
Commercially you might have an argument.
Sorry.
Real Madrid.
That's the biggest club in the world.
13 times European champions.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, really?
No.
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
That's like saying Ajax are the 5th best club in the world because they won the Champions League
They have
twice.
a history in Europe.
Yeah, but they're not. They're a tiny club.
Real Madrid have to be the biggest
club.
Why
would you leave Liverpool if you win the Champions League?
For the same reason, I had this argument with Andy about Ronaldo when he left Manchester United, and the same thing was happening. You said to me, why would he go to Real Madrid?
Oh, no,
United have just won the Champions League.
No.
And I said, because it's Real Madrid.
No, it's because where they come
and
from.
look what happened.
Growing up to support
he's Portuguese. He's always going to do that.
Mo Salah could just be, if we don't know, say Real Madrid have an iffy kind of season, Mo Salah goes, he could be the catalyst that returns them to the pinnacle.
Salah was at Chelsea. He was in the UK. Then he went to Roma. And then he went back to England. He must love England.
Well, not necessarily. It was the next step.
I would agree with you. I said, when I look at the two Spanish giants right now, I'm going to be interested to see what happens in the Champions League, John, because I look at the start they've made of the season, and Real Madrid have had their worst pre-season ever. Ever.